Good evening and welcome back. My name is Silas and I'm your storyteller here at Slumberlight Tales. You have arrived at the quiet part of the night where the world has begun to soften, where windows glow a little more warmly against the dark, and where nothing more is asked of you than to walk gently beside the story for a while. Tonight's journey is a simple one, a quiet walk through the city after closing time, when the streets are dim, the shops are settling, and somewhere on a narrow road, a small amber doorway awaits. Our story begins as evening deepens into night. You are walking without any need to arrive anywhere quickly. A bakery is drawing down its blind. A florist is carrying in the last bucket. A cafe door closes with a soft click, and the warm rectangle of light on the pavement disappears. The city is simply settling. You turn down a narrower street lined with older storefronts. A watchmaker's sign hangs still above the pavement. Halfway down the street, you notice a storefront that you do not remember. It is narrow, old-fashioned, and warmly lit. The sign above it is dark wood with faded lettering. Behind it, amber light rests on books arranged in calm rows. What is strange is not the shop itself, but the way the street moves around it. People pass without noticing it. A man with a folded newspaper, a woman carrying a paper bag, two friends in quiet conversation. It's almost as if this bookshop is invisible. It remains where it is, warm and out of place. And so you stop. The display is simple. 3 books stacked on their sides. A porcelain cup, a brass lamp with a green shade, and a small, handwritten card that only says, "Open late." The door, you notice, has no handle. There is dark polished wood, old glass, brass hinges dulled to honey color, but no knob, no latch, nothing to suggest how anyone enters. You raise your hand and place your fingertips against the door. At once, you feel resistance, but only a little, not the hard answer of a locked door, but something softer. The surface gives, the way warm air does near an oven door, except gentler and calmer. It feels faintly like still water holding a trace of warmth. Your hand moves forward through a soft, quiet layer. It is not startling. Sound from the street recedes without vanishing. The amber light deepens. Your shoulders follow, and then the rest of you. And the shift is so gentle that it's difficult to say exactly when outside became inside. You are no longer on the pavement. You are now in the bookshop. You notice warmth first, then the scent of old paper and new paper together, cloth, bindings, and leather, polished wood, a little clean dust, and tea. The floorboards beneath your shoes are dark and old, smooth in the middle and faintly creaking near the edges. Shelves rise higher than they first appeared from outside, with ladders resting on brass rails, their rungs rubbed, silky from years of use. Light hangs everywhere in small deliberate pools. A green-shaded lamp on the front table, amber sconces on the wall, a brass reading light at the counter, tiny lamps tucked along the shelves. Near the back, a man in a navy coat sits in a deep chair, reading with perfect stillness. At a side table, a woman turns a page so carefully the paper hardly makes a sound. No one looks up in surprise. It seems perfectly natural that you should be here. To your left is an old oak counter, and behind it stands the librarian. She appears exactly what a librarian in a quiet, late-night bookshop ought to be. Neatly dressed, composed, practical, with silver brown hair gathered at the nape of her neck and reading glasses resting low on her nose. A pencil lies beside an open ledger. She looks up and gives a small nod. "Evening," she says. You return the greeting. She closes the ledger, with one finger keeping the place. "Take your time," she says. "The front shelves are a good place to start." That is all. Only a practical kindness. And so, you move farther in. The front table holds books with plain cloth covers. Sunset above the sea, rain against glass, a slow train at night, snow falling at dusk. All these titles seem simple enough to already feel half remembered. A card among them reads, "These books contain calm moments. Please turn them gently." Beyond the table, the shelves are arranged not by subject, but by mood. Windows, weather, journeys with no hurry, lamps, hearths, and resting places. Near the back, a kettle lets out the faintest breath. "This one's a good place to start," the librarian says, drawing out a faded blue volume. sunset above the sea. She places it in your hands, and the cover is warm, as if it has been resting near a lamp. When you open it, there is only one line on the front page. "Stand here a while," it says. You carry the book to an armchair near a shaded lamp and sit down. Then the scent in the room begins to change. Paper and tea recede. In their place comes something cooler and clearer. Salt, damp stone, air that has traveled across open water. The warmth of the shop remains at your back, but cooler air gathers across your hands and forehead. Somewhere beneath the hush of the bookshop comes the sound of distant waves meeting the base of a cliff, far below, in slow intervals. The chair beneath you feels unchanged, and yet the fabric at your fingertip has become rougher, warmer in a different way, stone warmth. And only then does the light alter. Amber loosens into gold. Gold fades into rose. The edges of the shelves are no longer shelves. You are not jolted anywhere. You simply become aware that you are sitting on a high stone ledge above the sea. The ocean stretches outward, holding the last light in long bands of copper, silver, and blue. The wind is steady and cool. The stone beneath you is still warm from the day. Nothing happens. You sit and listen while the color at the horizon deepens from rose to violet, from violet to indigo. Then, gently, the salt thins. The rough warmth beneath your hand becomes fabric once more. The distant waves recede into the quieter sounds of the shop. You are back in the chair by the lamp. You close it and carry it to the front table. The librarian glances up. "How was it?" she asks. "Quiet," you say. She nods once. Then she adds, "There are others." In a narrow aisle near the back, you find a stack of smaller books. Rain against glass, a slow train at night, a warm kitchen at dawn. You take the first. Rain against glass is bound in soft gray cloth. Inside, the first page says, "Stay indoors and listen." This time, the shift begins with sound. A soft tapping, uneven at first, then gathered into rhythm. A rhythm of rain against glass. The shop remains visible for a few breaths longer, but layered over it comes another warmth, more enclosed. The faint smell of wool dried near a radiator, tea with milk, old varnish from a windowsill. The glass before you holds moving reflections. then only rain. You are seated in a deep chair beside a window at evening. A lamp with a pleated shade casts honey-colored light over the arm of the chair and the folded blanket resting there. Beyond the pane, rain slides down in patient paths, gathering and separating, each drop catching streetlight for an instant. The room around you is warmly ordinary in the loveliest way. A side table, a ceramic cup sending up the last thin thread of steam, a book closed face down, a radiator clicking once now and then. Outside, the street is blurred by weather. Inside, nothing moves except the rain on the glass. Rain has many textures. A soft rush when the wind leans it slightly. A finer ticking where it meets the upper corner of the pane. A muted hush before it reaches the sill. Gradually, the rain's rhythm becomes page-turn quiet. The wool scent becomes paper and tea once more. The windows darken into shelf shadow, and you are back in the bookshop. You pick up the next book. A Slow Train at Night, it reads. The cover is dark green, and the first line is simple. Sit by the window, it says. Almost immediately, there is motion. Not sudden motion, but movement already underway. A low, even rocking. The gentle repeated music of wheels running over rails. A soft, metallic hum beneath it all. Calm and regular as breathing. The air changes to carriage warmth. Upholstery, polished wood, a mild coal and tea scent. The faint tyrant note of a window frame cooled by night. The bookshop's lamplight lengthens into the lamplight of a nearly empty carriage. You are seated by the window. Across from you, no one. At the far end, a shaded lamp. Outside is night. A countryside night, where distant farmhouses appear as warm squares before slipping away. Now and then, the reflection of the carriage overlays the dark glass, so that for a moment you see both at once. The lamp, the seat, your own stillness, and beyond it, the blurred passing of fields and hedgerows. The rhythm never changes much. Rail joined to rail, a low clatter softened by speed and distance. A brief hollow resonance as you pass over a bridge. Then the longer, smooth stretch again. You rest your cheek lightly against the coolness near the window and let the motion carry you. A station appears once. All small lamps, and one waiting bench, then drifts away. A cluster of lights on a hill suggests a village tucked into itself for the night, then only fields again. By the time the carriage begins to fade, it feels as though you have been traveling for a long while without needing to know from where to where. The rocking gentles and the wheels soften into the sound of a ladder shifting somewhere in the shop, and once more you are sitting under the amber lamp. And so you pick up the next book. Snow Falling at Dusk. Its cover is the pale blue of winter shadows. The page inside simply states, "Walk slowly, there is nowhere else to be." This time, the first change is in sound. The bookshop hushes. Then comes temperature, cool air against your face, crisp and clean. Then light rises around you, not from lamps, but from windows. You are outdoors on a quiet street while snow falls. The flakes are small and steady, descending without wind. They gather on railings, steps, parked bicycles, and windowsills. Ahead, a row of houses glows from within. The windows are squares of amber and cream. The snow changes the whole world's voice. Your footsteps make a muted sound. A gate closes somewhere, but softly. Even the distant city seems to have stepped back and lowered itself into a murmur. And so you walk a little. One house has a lamp in the front room and a plant on the sill. Another shows the edge of a bookshelf and the moving shadow of someone passing farther inside. Nothing else happens. The street simply glows while the snow falls. At the corner, a street lamp wears a rounded cap of white. The light beneath it is diffuse and buttery, turning each descending flake visible for just a second before it joins the whitened pavement below. Then the scene loosens. The amber windows become amber reading lamps. The snow hush becomes the layered silence of the shop. The coolness leaves your cheeks, and you are back again, the pale blue book closed against your knees. By now, you begin to understand something about the shelves. They are not adventures. They are places of rest held between covers. Little portions of weather, room light, evening, and calm. You glance toward the counter. The librarian is writing in her ledger. When she notices you looking, she sets the pencil down. "They're useful," she says. And after a moment she adds, "People leave tired in different ways. These help." She nods toward another shelf. You might like the kitchen one. And so you find it. A warm kitchen at dawn, the title reads. The cover is green, with a faint gold thread at the spine. Inside it says, "Stay until the kettle sings." The shift begins with warmth, not the general warmth of a shop, but a kitchen warmth. Wood table, old tiles, the soft heat gathered near a stove before the day has fully begun. Then comes scent, tea leaves waiting in a caddy, a little honey, the faint clean scent of morning air entering through a window opened only slightly. The bookshop brightens into the first pale thinning of darkness before sunrise. You are in a kitchen at dawn. A kettle is on the stove, not yet singing, only preparing. Its soft murmur blends with the quiet of the room. Pale light gathers at the window over the sink, turning the glass a gentle gray blue. On the table sits a loaf beneath a cloth, a mug, a small jar of honey, and a bowl with a spoon resting inside. The room holds the stillness of early morning before anyone asks anything of it. You sit at the table and wait while the light slowly increases. Nothing needs doing. The kettle will be ready when it is ready. This is the soft domestic edge before the day properly begins. Outside the window, rooftops begin to separate from the sky. A bird tries one note, then another. Inside, the spoon gives a faint ceramic sound when it shifts in the bowl. Then, at last, the kettle rises into a gentle beginning of song. Not a shrill whistle, but a soft, keen that brightens the room without disturbing it. When it fades, it leaves behind a trace of warmth in your hands. Back in the bookshop, the lamps seem lower now, rounder, almost fire-like, though there is no fire. Near the counter, a return cart holds books not yet reshelved. Window open to summer rain, porch light in midsummer, the river after rain. Each title feels preserved for a reason. The realization arrives softly. These books are not random, beautiful moments gathered for decoration. They are moments people needed. A place to breathe while rain moved down a pane. A carriage that asked nothing but stillness. Snow falling outside lit windows. A dawn kitchen before the world spoke too loudly. Behind you, the librarian says that some people come in knowing exactly which shelf they need. She straightens a bookmark that has wandered out of place. Some don't. And the books choose, you ask lightly. She considers. Not quite, she says, but they're patient. Then, beside the ledger, you notice one more book. It is different from the others. No title on the cover, only a softly shaded surface, as though cream, gold, and gray have all been worn smooth together. The librarian follows your gaze. That one, she says quietly, is a good last one. You step to the counter. What is it called, you ask? She lifts one shoulder in the smallest half shrug. It doesn't always need a name. Then she slides it toward you. You may sit wherever you like. So you do. This time, not in the armchair by the lamp, but in the deeper chair near the back of the shop, where the shelves stand closer on either side, and the light is lower and rounder. The unnamed book rests in your lap. Inside, there are no words at all, only a pale page, then another, and still something begins. Not a scent this time, and not a sound from elsewhere, but warmth. It gathers gradually, not around you from outside, but through the chair, through your hands, through the small spaces between one breath and the next. Your shoulders loosen. Your breathing, without instruction, lengthens. Yet the bookshop remains. The shelves are still here. The lamps are still burning. The wooden floor still holds its old quiet. The librarian is still here at the counter. Yet everything begins to soften. The edges of the shelves are less strict now. The pools of amber light widen. The spaces between objects become kind rather than empty. Even the air seems easier to rest within. You breathe in paper, wood, tea, a little lavender perhaps, from somewhere you had not noticed before. The scent does not change into another place. It simply deepens into the most restful version of the room you are already in. Your breathing slows again, not because you choose it, but because the room seems to breathe that way as well. The shop itself becomes a place to rest, holding your tiredness lightly. The street outside fades to a distant memory of sound. The librarian lowers a lamp, its light softening to a deeper amber, and places a folded blanket beside you. You do not read the blank pages. You simply sit with them. After a while, you close the book and return it. She nods gently. The door will be ordinary now. At the entrance, the door is solid beneath your hand. Cool glass, old wood, You step outside into the quiet city. When you turn back, the shop seems dimmer, almost ordinary. You walk on, and the night air is calm. The world softened. The warmth of the shop lingers with you, like something you can return to whenever you need.